You know, in the beginning of the film Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen says something to the effect of, every day that my enemy squats in the bush, he gets stronger. And every day that I sleep in a bed, I get weaker. And there's a lot of truth there. I talked about this in that Be That Pig, where I talk about the genetics of how animals, you just change their environment and then their whole physical bodies can change. And then in, I guess it was World Breach 6, I think, I talk about a basic monster hunting kit loadout. And the really ironic thing is, you always forget a couple things. But one of the things I forgot to mention was a notepad, for a variety of reasons. The virtue of the notepad, first of all, it's Y2K compliant. For those of you that weren't around in Y2K, there was a big fear that, when it turned to the year 2000, all the computers would break and the internet would be destroyed. So it became like this funny thing saying, oh, it's Y2K compliant. So anything that doesn't usually use power in any way is Y2K compliant. But notepads, they're a super essential thing for two reasons. Number one, if you see something, you can write it down right away so that you don't forget anything, because it's crazy how quickly you forget stuff. But the other thing that you'll use the notepad for every single time you go out, and this is clutch, this is super critical, is that you'll realize when you're out there in the bush, waiting and lurking in the darkness, what you need. And there'll be truths that come to you, be like, man, if I just had one of these things, or if I got to remember to throw this in my gear, in my kit. And you'll forget it if you don't write it down. There's always pieces of gear you need to add. And by writing it down, and this may sound super crazy, but I'm here to tell you, this is the truth. You'll get out there in the night, and you'll be, trying to just, exist and be there. And these truths will come to you about the gear that you need to possess. But what you need to pack next time, what you need to pack better. And it is absolutely critical that you write these things down. And you have to write them down on your notepad. Because if you don't write them down in that exact moment, it'll be lost. And then that suffering you went through won't mean anything. It'll just be one of those things you're like, oh, I'll write it down later. No, you've got to write it down now. So it's so important that you have a notepad with you. And it's not a super popular thing now. Everyone's like, well, I got my phone and I've got this and I've got that. There's also something kind of, I don't know, there's something you can't really put your notion on it, to writing on a notepad, to physically writing something down. And the more time you spend in the bush, the stronger you're going to get. So each day that you're out there, each day that you're doing things, each day and night, that's how you should measure your success, is how many nights you manage to get out this year. It's 2026, and I've made some resolutions to spend some decent time in the bush getting stronger. And as I do, I'll be able to pass that information on to you guys. But the number one piece of info is that all that knowledge will be lost if you're not able to write it down. So, as crazy as it might sound to you, don't ever forget the venerable and noble notepad.